Have you ever wondered why some photographers get only $300 a photo shoot and others get $3,000, $5,000 or sometimes even $10,000 per photo shoot? This was my biggest question in photography. The first question was, how do I get clients? The second question was, how do I get clients to actually value me and be happy to pay me $3,000 for a photo shoot? I remember sitting with other photographers who were at my level, speaking about photographers who were next level. And they showed me Instagram profiles of some of those photographers and told me this photographer gets $5,000 per photo shoot. And then when I looked at their photos looked exactly like mine. Or I had the same skills. I could do the same photos. My friends could do the same photos. But me and all my friends only managed to get $300 a photo shoot. And if we ever ask our clients for more money, they would laugh at us and say, there's just no way, Sam. I've been a photographer for the last 9 years. And for the first 7 years, I was working super hard, sometimes even 3 different jobs in one day, which means I would wake up super early, run to my job, make sure I don't miss anything, take all the photos super fast. Because the clients wants to pay on a small budget, I had to make as much photos in the quickest time possible and then run to the next job. And then after being an hour or 2 at that job, I would run to the next event. After being super exhausted, I would tell no to all my friends that I can't meet them. I would sit till 3 a.m. editing all the photos from that day, fall asleep on my laptop, then wake up to a nightmare of me missing a job or missing a wedding. I would basically work and think about work all day long. And then at the end of the month, I would see how much money I actually made. Not enough to buy the newest camera or the newest gear that I wish I had, because back then I used to think having the best camera will give you the best photos. I even dreamed about having those $50,000 cameras. I was thinking, YOLO, what if I just invest all my money and buy a camera like this? Maybe I'll make a lot of money because of it. Little did I know, I was completely wrong. I remember getting to the end of the year, looking at how much money I actually made after taxes and everything. I used to make around $30,000 a year after almost experiencing a few burnouts, working way too much, never actually having me time or friends time or any time other than work. Because all the time I would edit photos and be at jobs. And then I remember having a conversation with a new person I just met. He told me he works at Nike. Basically, his job is to go to meetings, do a little bit of computer, but most of the time drink fancy coffees and play ping pong. And then at 5 p.m. he would go home, be with his girlfriend, his friends, and have his own life without dreaming about work, without stressing about it, and with always knowing that he will get paid at the end of the month without any problem. And then the craziest part, he made around 3 times more than me while working half of the time with no stress. How is that even possible? Back then, after being 6 years a photographer, I almost gave up about photography. My skills are better than him. I work much harder. This isn't fair, I thought to myself. So after this conversation with my new friend, I decided no more. I'm not going to work for those low-paying clients anymore. And I'm going to figure out what it takes to 10x my prices. This moment changed my life completely. From that moment, I actually started saying no, which is really scary because I didn't have confidence in myself that I actually managed to do it. And I always had this person in my mind who was telling me, you wouldn't make it. You need this money. It's only 2 hours. But that actually is a trap. It's not only 2 hours of making photos. It's actually 5 hours of editing, transporting, communicating with the clients. And it's much longer than just 2 hours. Instead of doing all those small jobs, I started reading books, paying mentors, buying courses, investing in my website. And at the end of the year, I actually managed to 10x my prices. I went from around $300 or $400 for a photo shoot to $3,000 or $4,000 for a photo shoot. During that year, I learned marketing, branding, pitching, how to communicate with clients, how to actually build confidence when you're speaking to your clients who you charge $3,000 for without feeling a scammer, and actually being confident and friendly and feeling like it's a fair exchange. Because at the beginning, when people ask me what my prices are, I used to say, it's $2,000. Is that okay for you? Are you comfortable with that? Because if not, we can do something about the price. And guess what? That never worked. So I had to learn how to actually build confidence, how to communicate in a very natural way with my clients, which actually changed my whole relationship with my friends, my family, and everyone, and made me a much better communicator. And after that year, I found out that I wasn't actually working harder, I was just working smarter. Most of the things I used to do when I was working with low-paying clients were things that are just not smart to do. Like, for example, posting just your photos on Instagram. That's a mistake I used to make, and I see all the other photographers do that as well. People actually don't care what you do, they care why you do it. Instead of editing my photos myself, I started paying other people. And by the way, back then, I didn't have a lot of followers. The followers just came a year ago. I used to have around 4,000 followers back then, which most of them were just friends that I got along along the years. And then instead of spending most of my time editing my photos, I started outsourcing it for around $5 an hour to people in the Philippines who usually would get $2, $3 an hour. So they were really happy with $5 an hour. And now instead of dealing with clients who I actually don't want to hang around, where I feel always they scam me and they're not fair, paying me so little, now I hang out with people who actually pay me a fair price. And we are both very happy from this exchange, where very often we actually became really good friends. Now one of the most fun things in my life is actually going to work, because I can work in huge events where the event production was over $1 million. Or I get to work on those beautiful weddings, which is the most special day of someone's life. And those people are actually super interesting. They're huge entrepreneurs. And just having conversations with them is already fascinating. Or then I would go the next day, meet a CEO of a huge company, make some portraits of him. And while he has a lot of people who are waiting in line to speak to him, I get to have a one-on-one with him, me guiding him, helping him, giving some ideas, and then actually thinking together, wow, we could do so much together to help each other. And amazing opportunities come from that. And that is only what I do half of the year. And the other half of the year, I get to travel around the world, go to Thailand, Bali, Italy, do whatever I want, actually have fun, hang out with friends, and actually have a vacation for myself. I mean, what other job gives you half a year of a vacation? In this year, I also figured out a way to make my website rank #1 on Google. Part of the trick is actually showing my clients' photos on my website. So when the clients receive the photos, they see it on my website and then they spend a really long time on it, share it with all their friends. And because of it, Google thinks my website is super valuable. Now, to do something like that is not easy. It actually took me half a year of really hard work to figure out exactly how can I upload 1,000 photos to a single website. But because of it, I got a lot of emails and companies and corporations who were looking for a photographer. And often I couldn't do those jobs. Sometimes I would get ghosted. Then I would try to analyze, why did I get ghosted? How do I fix it? How do I actually communicate that I can be valued at that price? And then because I got so much new emails/inquiries of people wanting to work with me, I could test every time and see what works and what doesn't work. And I learned exactly what do I need to say when my prices are this high, and how do I make sure that people actually value it and say, yes, they want to work with me for this price, even though it's 10 times more than other photographers. Now, this is why I'm building this program, where I help other photographers get out of their freelance prison, like I used to feel and almost give up, and go back to work for a normal job and actually enjoy their work and feel like there's unlimited amount of growth possible on a personal level, financial level, and with everyone around them. In this program, I will show you how you can 10x your prices and actually make a lot of money. Let's calculate it. I now can easily get around $4,000 a day. Right now, I get many emails just from my website where I get clients who I can easily charge $3,000 or $4,000 from. Now, some clients I can even pitch for $5,000. So if I have the right system where I have people who edit my videos, who edit my photos, people who do my marketing and make sure that I always get new clients, and I can also get some of my clients to pay me every month for a new service, which most of it I can actually outsource to other photographers and photo editors. Realistically, I would be able to work 15 days a month. So 15 times 3,000, which actually can be also 5,000 or 8,000, is $45,000 in 1 month. Now, for now, I stopped taking new jobs because I want to focus on my personal brand, which started to explode not so long ago when I started sharing my secrets. Now, being a photographer can be a wonderful job. It can be a nightmare, like it used to be for me, where I almost gave up, but it also changed my life completely. I grew up as a kid with no confidence at all, because when I was 6 years old, my family moved from a country where I had all my friends and I knew the language and everything was good, to a new country where I didn't know the language. I didn't know anyone, so I was the new kid at school, and everybody made fun of the new kid of school who doesn't know the language and who's coming from a different country. I lost all my confidence then. When I turned 18, I moved completely alone back to Amsterdam, started from zero, invested all my money in my first camera, and half a year after I bought my first camera, I already became a full-time photographer. And because of photography, I learned how to build my confidence back, and especially when I toured with DJs who I used to dream about working with, or I would meet CEOs where all my friends would love to meet them and drink a coffee with them, and I would be an hour with him taking photos of him, or then I would be at a super intimate wedding, or walk on a podium with thousands of people looking at the DJ while I'm around them. All those things gave me my confidence back. So thanks to photography, which I think can be the best job in the world. And to be honest, photography is the best thing that ever happened in my life. So I totally recommend it to anyone. And yes, this program is not only for people who are already professional photographers, it's also for people who are just starting out with photography. I can help both because I've been in both cases. Now, one of the biggest lessons I learned from this year that changed my life, and from all the entrepreneurs I'm around right now who are millionaires, I learned that investing in yourself is the most important thing you can do in your life. So now you have two options. Or you decide to not invest in yourself, and then life will probably stay like the last 5 years. Or you decide to believe in yourself, to invest in yourself. And when you invest in yourself, it's not only money that's gone. All my entrepreneur friends tell me that every time they invested in themselves, they got 10 times out of it. And this is why one of my mentors, Michel, last dinner he told me that every time he wants a course, a masterclass, a workshop, or a program, even if it costs $30,000, he doesn't think about it. He just invests in himself because he always makes 10 times more from what he learned. One of my biggest problems used to be I actually don't believe in myself. Maybe other people can make it, but I can just not make it. I even used to think that the algorithm hates me, or that I'm too awkward. I have no confidence. I need to have super discipline. I need to have more muscles to actually make it. But no, that actually all came later. When I invested in myself, someone else started believing in me, investing his energy and time into me. And that made me believe more in myself, get more energy from people around me. And instead of trying to do everything alone all the time, making all those mistakes and losing trust in the world and losing confidence in myself, I started working with other people who gave me energy. And because I learned from them and got their energy, I now believe much more in myself. And this is why I'm daring to put myself out there, speak on my Instagram to thousands of people, charge 10 times more than other photographers, and actually become best friends with my clients. And I get to work with people who actually inspire me. So if you're ready for the next step, click the link here below and let's change your life like my life was completely changed. I never want you to give up on your dreams, and I know everything is getting more expensive and scary. How am I going to make it? How can I raise my prices? I'm here to help you with everything. And if you have any questions, send me a DM on Instagram. I usually answer everything.